Be ready, 10 seconds to go. Start. Mr. President, it is no accident that Indonesia is the first country I have visited since my assumption of office. Indonesia and India are neighbors who share a common cultural heritage and whose record of peaceful cooperation over the countries can perhaps be regarded as a model for relations between states. In the more recent past, our peoples inspired one another in a mutually reinforcing struggle to rid ourselves of colonial domination. Since our emergence as independent states, we have been engaged in the task of consolidating our freedom. Both our countries have adopted the principles of Panchshila. In a world characterized by competition between power blocks, we concluded that a policy of non alignment was best calculated to consolidate our independence and to foster our political and economic development in directions best suited to the genius of our people. Our common assessment that military alliances afford an illusory sense of security and cannot provide enduring strength has been fully vindicated by developments which have taken place since we first enunciated the policy of non alignment. While referring to the period shortly after we became independent members of the Committee of Nations, I cannot but recall with pride and gratification the initiatives our countries took to pave the way for Afro Asian unity at the historic Bandung Conference. The Asian countries have formulated proposals calculated to ensure their stability and security from external interference. We fully share the concerns and aspirations of the Asian countries and have pledged our cooperation in the attainment of their objectives. The concept of the Indian Ocean as a zone of peace constitutes yet a further assertion on the part of the littoral and hinterland states of their concern over the tension and the serious intensification of the arms race caused by the expansion of great power presence in our region. Indonesia and India are among the largest countries in Asia and the world, and our constructive and close cooperation could contribute significantly to the creation of conditions of peace and stability in the region to which we belong. Mr. President, there is a wind of change in Asia. Important developments have taken place in Indo-China. In the recent past, the termination of the conflict in that region is a matter of particular gratification since it has brought to an end a long period of bitter and avoidable human suffering, but more difficult task lies ahead. The new situation which has emerged is of great significance for Asia since it opens up the prospect of a constructive and fruitful relationship among the states in the region based on sovereignty, territorial integrity, and cooperation and mutual benefit. The situation in the subcontinent has changed fundamentally since the emergence of Bangladesh as an independent nation in 1971. We have been earnestly engaged in the process of establishing a climate of durable peace in our region and are determined to persist with these efforts. In West Asia, the situation will remain tense as long as forcible occupation of Arab territories is not vacated and legitimate rights of the Palestinian people are not recognized. These various developments have tended to underscore the question of security and development in the Asian context. Mr. President, it is our belief that in the ultimate analysis, these can most effectively be assured through the establishment of stability and internal strength both in the national and regional contexts. Our thinking in this regard corresponds to the Indonesian concept of resilience. The fabric of peace and stability can be further strengthened through bilateral economic and cultural cooperation, which can gradually be extended to assume a multilateral character. History and political circumstances have prevented Asian nations from developing an Asian consciousness or a sense of regional unity and identity. I am confident that through the promotion of closer cooperation and understanding between the nations of our region, we can take decisive and meaningful steps towards the attainment of a goal which would undoubtedly be in the interest of all our people. Mr. President, both our countries are engaged in the monumental task of improving the quality of life of our peoples. We realize that we must undertake the responsibilities of economic development and social justice with the same vigor which motivated our struggles for independence, since freedom can become secure and meaningful for our people only if it has social and economic content. The responsibility to make the less developed countries economically strong has to be accepted by the international community as a whole as an essential prerequisite for durable peace and security, and the developed and rich countries have an obligation to promote this process. It is equally necessary for the developing countries to assist one another by sharing their resources and skills and by establishing close links for mutually beneficial economic cooperation. Indonesia's reserves of natural resources are happily abundant, and I have been gratified to see what remarkable progress your government has made in the development of these resources. We in India have made our own efforts to develop our technology. Stop